Okay, let's try some more. So if I look, there's the angle they gave me. This is the hypotenuse. This side is opposite the angle, and this side is adjacent. It's the side touching. So if I look, I want something that involves the adjacent and the opposite. So I'm going to write SOHCAHTOA on this side of my sheet too, just so I can refer to it. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to write SOHCAHTOA. So I want something with opposite and adjacent. So if I look, my tan ratio deals with opposite and adjacent. So I'm going to write out the tan ratio, and I'm going to use theta again. So this is tan of angle 50, and I'm looking for the relationship between opposite and adjacent. So opposite is x, and adjacent in this case is 75. So again, I can cross multiply. Again, this is over 1. So x times 1 is x. And this will give me 75. And I always write it in front of the trig ratio. So I'm going to put this into my calculator. So I want to do 75 tan. Open my bracket. 50. Close my bracket. And hit equals. And I get approximately 89.38. So I get x is equal to 89.38, and it's centimeters. If you have a different kind of calculator, you might have to do 50 tan times 75 equals. Okay, if we look at C, here's the angle they gave me. This is my hypotenuse. This side is opposite that angle. This side, not the hypotenuse, is adjacent to it because it's touching it. So I'm looking for something that has adjacent and hypotenuse. So if I look, I want adjacent and hypotenuse. So I'm looking for the cosine ratio, adjacent and hypotenuse. So again, I'm going to say, well, this is cos theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. So then I can say, well, cos theta, the adjacent is x, the hypotenuse is 4.5. Oh, let's change that. That should be cos of 65. So again, I'm going to cross multiply. This is over 1. So this is 1 times x is x. And I have 4.5 times cos of 65. So I'm going to put it in my calculator. I'm going to do 4.5 cos bracket 65 close bracket equals, and I get about 1.90. And it's meters. If you have a different kind of calculator, you're going to do 65 cos times 4.5 equals. Looking at D, there's my angle. Longest side is hypotenuse. This side is opposite. This side is adjacent. This is opposite the angle. This side is the one next to the angle that's not the hypotenuse. I need a ratio that uses both opposite because there's nothing on the hypotenuse side, I don't worry about it, and adjacent. So I think SOHCAHTOA, opposite, and adjacent would be my tan ratio. So I'm going to say, well, tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. So I'm going to plug in tan. My angle is 35 degrees. My opposite is x. My adjacent is 75. And then I cross multiply. This is like tan over 1. So 1 times x is x. And this times this would be 75 tan 35. We always put the side in front of the tan or cos or sine ratio. I'm going to pull out my calculator again. I want to do 75 tan bracket times 35 close bracket equals. And then I get 52.52. Remember, you have to round. So I get x is equal to 52.52, and it's centimeters. If you have a different calculator, you're going to do 35 tan times 75 equals. Last one. Here is 58 is our angle. This is our hypotenuse. There's opposite, and there's our adjacent. So I'm looking for something that has hypotenuse and opposite. There's nothing on the adjacent side, so I don't need to worry about it. So I want something that has hypotenuse and opposite, so that would be my sine ratio. So I have sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse. So sine 58 is equal to the opposite. I'm looking for this side length over hypotenuse. So then I want to cross multiply. So I have this is over 1. So 1 times x is x. And this times this would be 4.5 sine of 58. So then I'm going to again put that in my calculator. So I have 4.5 sine bracket 58 close bracket, and then I hit equal. And I round it, I get 3.82. And it's meters. If you have a different type of calculator, you may have to do 58 sine times 4.5 equals to get your answer.